back to Marshmallow Reads. I'm Mercy and I'm cold. It is chilly here and I figured I'd take this cozy day and do a book tag. This is my first time doing one of these before. Let's get to it. So I have chosen to do the Goodreads tag. I'm not entirely sure who first created this tag. If there is an author and if I can find one, I will post it here to give them credit. Question number 1. What was the last book you marked as read? The last book I completed at this point in time is Follow Me to Ground by Sue Rainsford. So this is one of the books I got for Christmas. It's pretty short. It only took me about 3 days, casual reading to get through it. I ultimately gave this one a 4 out of 5 stars. I think I'll leave my actual review of it for my February wrap-up. Ooh, it does take place in Ireland, so I'm counting this one as part of my 7 continents challenge. It'll be for Europe. For a very basic synopsis, a father and a daughter use their magical healing powers to cure the local townsfolk of their illnesses, and legends grow around them about what they really are. That doesn't even fully cover it, but it's okay. It's, like I said, it's a short book. I don't think you need that much information to get into this one. It is a little bit dark in its themes, so heads up. Question number 2. What are you currently reading? Okay, so the first book on my currently reading list is Heartstopper Volume 4 by Alice Oseman. I've actually been reading this one for maybe a month or so now. Technically, it's not out yet. I am reading this one chapter by chapter as Alice Oseman publishes them online. The expected publication for this volume, all bundled together, is I think May 31st of this year, so it'll be a few more months until I can finish all the chapters and mark this one fully completed. This is a continuation of Nick and Charlie's high school romance as they develop their relationship and also deal with Charlie's eating disorder. So trigger warning for those topics. The next thing that I'm currently reading is Earthlings by Sayaka Murata, and I'm really loving it so far. I'm literally only 4% in, but I really like the writer's style. This is my first book from her. I have another of her books in a later question. This takes place in Japan and is originally written in Japanese. It has been translated to English. And the basic plot, as I understand it, a young woman is convinced that she is an alien because she has never fully fit into society. So far, it's cute, it's quaint, and I like it. Okay, I forgot I technically started reading this one because it was late night audiobook on Spotify. I kind of forgot about it. So the last thing that I'm currently reading is The Raven Boys. It's the first book in the Raven Cycle series, and it is a fantasy young adult romance series. The plot, I believe, is this loner teenage girl meets some wealthy, handsome, and talented private school boys. And that's it. I know there's some magical elements. She has some sort of prophecy, she's destined to be the cause of death of her true love or something. I don't know. When I picked this up, I totally thought it was completely focused on the boys. I thought it was going to be a tale of their friendship and maybe their love, I had no idea that this girl was involved at all, and that kind of made my interest dip. So I think I am going to try to finish this one, and it should be easy because it's on audiobook and it's on Spotify, so I don't have to worry about returning it on time or anything. Maybe it'll surprise me. I don't know. We'll see. Question number 3. What was the last book you marked as TBR, or to be read? Okay, so this ad came right after I started reading Earthlings because I really liked Sayaka Murata's writing and I knew I wanted to read more of her stuff. So I added Convenience Store Woman to my TBR. From reading the description on Goodreads, it sounds like both of these books are focusing on women who don't quite fit into the molds that society has made for them, And like in Convenience Store Woman, she has been working at this convenience store for like 18 years and is happy with her life. But the people that are close to her in her life, like her friends and family, keep trying to pressure her to go find a real career and get herself a husband. And those are things that she just doesn't really want. And this kind of story interests me. Question number 4. What book do you plan to read next? I love using my Overdrive app to check out ebooks and audiobooks from my local library, and right now I have one book that I'm really excited about on hold, and that is Homegoing by Ya Jesse. This is a contemporary fiction novel, and it crosses continents and 3 centuries of time, and it seems to be a very emotional and in many ways personal story. It starts with 2 half-sisters who are born into different villages in 18th century Ghana. One sister is married off to an Englishman and lives in comfort in these large palatial rooms of Cape Coast Castle. The other sister, unknown to the first sister, is imprisoned beneath this castle, and she, along with thousands of others, are sold into the Gold Coast booming slave trade. She is shipped off to America, where her children and grandchildren will be raised in slavery. Just wow. This, I know, is going to be a very emotional read, and I am excited for it. I've been wanting to read this one for a while since I heard of it, and I figured Black History Month is probably a good month as any to read it. So hopefully I get this hold in time. Question number 5. Do you use the star rating system? And I believe it's asking specifically about the 5-star rating system on Goodreads. So one thing that bugs me about it is it doesn't let you put 0 stars for something. It's just 1 through 5. And because it is the first system that I used, I ended up sticking with it, and I do use it. Figured now is as good a time as any to go through why I use the system and what each star means. Okay, 1 star. I hated it. I wish I didn't read it, and I don't think anyone should read it, and no one should waste their time on it because it's trash. I recently gave The Good Neighbor by A.J. Banner 1 star for good reasons. 2 stars. It's pretty bad. It has some redeeming qualities, but not many. Many times it's poorly written, or maybe it has problematic themes and or characters. Sometimes there's nothing objectively wrong with the book. I just don't jive with it. It is possible for someone else to enjoy this book more than I do, but not for me. 3 stars is solid good. Like, if I enjoyed it and it wasn't anything special, it's probably gonna be a 3. These types of books did their job. So a fantasy was magical, or a horror was scary. A good story, a good book, but nothing special. 4 stars is great. I really enjoyed it, and I think that lots of people would enjoy it too. It had some sort of uniqueness that made it stand out from similar stories. And then 5 stars, fantastic. Not necessarily perfect, but so good that I can't stop thinking about it. Most people who have similar tastes in books as me would probably also really enjoy it. These tend to be books that are similar to 4 stars, but they really go above and beyond my expectations, or maybe they just hit me just right emotionally, or they were super fun to read, or they had really important themes, or a combination of the above. You know, the list goes on. These are some of my favorite books. Question 6. Are you doing a reading challenge this year? Yes, I am. I have a whole video about it. I'll link it here. Numbers wise, I am trying to read at least 52 books this year, hopefully more, but we'll see how this year goes. I am also doing 2 self-made challenges. The first one is the 7 Continents Challenge. In this challenge, I'm going to read 1 book based on each of the 7 continents, excluding the continental US because that's too easy. And then the other challenge I made is the solar system challenge. And this is where I read a book set on each of the following: Mercury, Venus, Earth, Earth's moon, Mars, somewhere in the asteroid belt, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and of course Pluto. Question 7. Do you have a wish list? Not really. I'm trying not to buy a lot of books. I want to keep them to a minimum and keep it to my favorites, really, if I can. But I guess I do have a wish list, it is called that, on my Overdrive app for all of the books that I want to check out from them at some point. And I think that counts. Question 8. What book do you plan to buy next? So like I said, I don't really want to buy books right now, but there is one that I am actively considering buying, and that is Dessert Person by Claire Saffitz. This is a cookbook, a dessert-focused cookbook by Claire, and I love her and I love her recipes and I really, really want it. But I am not going through with this purchase until I try at least one new recipe from all of the cookbooks that I already own, which is 21. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it kind of is. And they're chunky books. They take up a lot of shelf space. And I feel like I shouldn't just be willy-nilly buying cookbooks. I need to use what I have and chuck the ones I'm not using. Donate or give to someone. They're not going in the trash. So far, since I started this little challenge of mine, I've gone through 2. So I've got a ways to go. Maybe by next Christmas, I'll get this for myself. Question 9. Do you have any favorite quotes? Would you like to share a few? When I was really thinking about this, I couldn't at first think of any specific quotes until I remembered I did quote the Amber Spyglass in my vows in my wedding last June. Yeah, I remembered, yes, I do very much love this quote, so I'm gonna read it to you all now. This is Lyra speaking to Will at the end of this 3rd book in the series. I will love you forever, whatever happens, till I die and after I die. And when I find my way out of the land of the dead, I'll drift about forever, all my atoms, till I find you again. Every atom of me and every atom of you will live in birds and flowers and dragonflies and pine trees and in clouds and in those little specks of light you see floating in sunbeams. And when they use our atoms to make new lives, they won't just be able to take one, they'll have to take 2. One of you and one of me will be joined so tight. It's so good. Not only is it a good quote from a good book, but it also has sentimental value to me because John, my husband, got me into this series before we even started dating, and I only just finished it right before we got married, and it was a lot of feelings. It was good. Number 10, who are your favorite authors? I could go on for a while, but for now I'm going to pick 2. The first being Becky Chambers. So this is the author of the Wayfarer series. The first book in the series is The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, and it is a sci-fi series. I think it's mostly driven by its characters rather than its world or its plot, and I really love it. She is so good at writing these unique and diverse characters, and they have really good interpersonal relationships, and yeah. I'm really looking forward to the 4th installment in this series. The Galaxy and the Ground Within should be coming out sometime this year. Don't think I'm gonna buy it. No, I'll just put a hole through my library. I'll be fine. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. And the other author I want to talk about is Elizabeth Acevedo. I discovered her this past year and I'm so happy I did. I have loved everything that I've read by her so far. If she writes something, I will read it. Or more likely, I will listen to it because her verse and her prose is just astonishing to hear. It is so artistic and creative and flowy and magical. Just she voices her own work in the audiobooks, and it's just wow. It's so emotional and so personal. I love it. Please check her out, and if you do, I would recommend starting with The Poet X. But really, you can start anywhere with her stuff. Like I said, I could go on, but I'm gonna stop here. I might try to do a favorite author series sometime in the future. Let me know if you'd be interested in that. Number 11, have you joined any groups? When I first read this question, I thought it was asking about like reading groups, as in book clubs. And no, I haven't. I've wanted to, but I haven't. But now I'm thinking there probably is a function on Goodreads specifically for groups of people. But I don't know what they do because I've never even looked at that. Oh my god, yeah, groups? I just checked my Goodreads. No, I have not joined any groups. I didn't know there were groups. Maybe I'll check some out. I don't know. I'm going to answer the question that I thought this was. Yeah, I have not joined any reading clubs or groups because I've wanted to, but it just hasn't happened. If any of you are interested in starting a reading club with me, let me know in the comments. Maybe we'll start one. Okay, that's all of the questions for this tag. That was fun. I enjoyed myself. Hopefully you enjoyed watching that. I definitely plan on doing more of these in the future. All right, that's it for me this week. I hope you enjoyed yourself. If you liked this video, please hit the like button. If you really liked this video, consider subscribing to my channel, and I will see you next week.